Hey everyone, welcome to event number 5 of the Autoflux Games. This is actually going to be the final event of the series, and then the next video, which will be maybe Wednesday next week, will be the finale, which we will be revealing the winners of this entire series. During that finale, I'll be mentioning the poll results, and they will be included in the running, like in the score, so make sure to vote down below. The voting will be done pretty much, I think I'll be editing on Tuesday, so on Tuesday it'll be over and the results will be in. I know the poll will stay up, but I can't take it down, so that's that. So this event is a pretty simple one. We're going to be doing a drag race. Now the reason that I wanted to do a drag race is because so far we've been doing a lot of stuff that doesn't really depend on the power of the car other than the pulling challenge. This one is just raw power. It's just grip, power, that's it. So we can expect cars like the Camaro to pull in front because it's got 25, almost 2600 horsepower. Stuff like the trophy truck might actually do well this time. It's going to be pretty interesting. For this, we are going to be going to the West Coast, USA. There is a time trial for the drag strip, so it can be easily timed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run each vehicle 3 times, and we'll take the best of those 3, and then we'll just put that in the leaderboard, and that'll be it. Let's get started. The first vehicle that's going to be going is the race truck. I'm going to be going in the order that the list currently is in, for first place down to last. So the race truck has proved itself to be a worthy challenger in these events, pulling a lot of high scores overall, so I'm expecting that it's going to be doing pretty well in this. All we have to do is get right down to the end there, and then that's it. So for me it's really easy. All I have to do is pull the right trigger, but let's see what kind of time we can put down with this truck. 3, 2, 1, and gun it. I'm just using the arcade gearbox. I think it's more fair if I do it that way. So the runs will be very consistent because all it's going to be is just, all I'm doing right now is just holding down the trigger, as you can see. I guess I should mention that this is a 400-meter run. I believe that's a quarter mile. So yeah, that's pretty okay for a quarter mile, I think. Another strong start from the truck here. I think the last time was 13.005, so if we just get the exact same time again, then I would not be too surprised. And oh, it was actually a touch slower that time, I think. Yeah, it was a little bit slower that time. Okay, one more time for the truck. And our final run of the day is going to be pretty much the same as the... Oh yeah, okay. So somewhere in the middle. That's not a bad range there. So the fastest time for the truck is a 13.3 seconds. So the truck is a very consistent vehicle. That means that its times were pretty close together. It was within 0.2 of a second of each other. Some of the vehicles, especially this one here, the F1 van, are just entirely inconsistent with everything they do. I'm worried that the F1 van will not be able to find traction on the drag strip. Stuff like the Camaro is just going to fly down here at like 300 kilometers an hour, but this is sort of a mid-range, and yet its wheel spin is going to be causing issues. So let's see what it can do here. 3, 2, 1, and I just have the trigger all the way down. So far, not too bad. I might have to add a little bit of steering there just to keep it out of the wall, but oh goodness, it's faster than the truck, about 5 times more deadly as well. So the van started off with a 12.6. I'm hoping that we can do a little bit better than that if I keep it just a little bit more straight. Oh, 12.6 again. And again it veers into the same wall, but that was actually a little bit faster, so the van is currently leading the leaderboard. Let's try it one more time. Alright, last run for the van. How will it do this time? I'm going to try and keep it straight once again and hopefully keep it out of the wall. Once it hits the turbos though, it just goes nuts. Oh, it's going for the other wall. Okay, so that was a touch slower, but still, the van is currently winning. Up next is the fan favorite ultralight max downforce car, which is currently going in reverse. This may affect its time, so I'm going to be quick here. It seems like we should be able to just... yeah, okay, no problems there. But we probably have to go a few extra inches if I decide to talk too much during the intro. If this car wins, we are going to attempt to fix that issue. But let's see what kind of time it lays down. A 14.4. Now, the issue with these ultralight cars is that they just do not have much power, and that means that their times are not going to be great. This one is all-wheel drive. It's very light, but it's only got 112 horsepower. It's just not going to be enough to compete with stuff like the van, which is 600, and the truck, which is 400, and yeah, I think you get the point. So the max downforce car is attempting to see if it can improve on that 14-second run. That is the slowest time yet. I think this time might be a little bit better. It just feels better. Feeling versus time, we shall see. 14.4.5. That's even slower. Goodness. This max downforce car is another very consistent vehicle in our running. It has held third place for a while, and that's just because it's good overall, so it's no wonder that the fans like it. That seemed to be, yeah, that was, again, a little bit slower. Now, Pearl's Revenge is another vehicle that has been very consistent in the table so far when it comes to the events that we've done, and it is currently rivaling the max downforce car for third place on the leaderboard. Will this event be enough to put it up into third, into a podium place? We shall see. Now, it does have a boxer engine. It's a 5.4 liter. I think it's got about 400 horsepower, so it should theoretically be good, but well, only the time will tell. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. That's a strong start from Pearl's Revenge. I'm trying to look at the speeds as well to sort of get an idea of how things are going. I do not remember what the max downforce did, but we are quickly approaching 180. Okay, so a 12.8, that is much faster than the max downforce car, and it puts it up into fourth place on the leaderboard, but I'm going to have to go through all of these times and just separate them because there are 3 for each car, so it's not exactly accurate at the moment, but that's not bad. I think based on that time that this is certainly rivaling the van when it comes to speed, which is good. It does have quite a bit less power than the van, and it is heavier than the van, but balance is key, and it's doing pretty well at that. 12.8, but at this time just a little bit slower. Let's go for that last round. This one is looking to be pretty much the same. 12.84. I don't remember. Okay, so not great overall. It got slower progressively as time went on, but that first score is a decent one. That puts it up into, I think, second place. Now, the Bomero is an interesting beast. The first event it came last. That was the trailer pull, I think? No, that was the fuel efficiency challenge. And then in the trailer pull, it was actually sort of the middle, lower end of the pack. But it's terribly inefficient because it's got 2,500 horsepower. It's like 2,570. That's a lot. It's a V12 twin turbo, and that has propelled it to it actually got second place in the third event and first place in the previous event. So I anticipate that it's probably going to win this one, but it might be rivaled by some of the other more track-oriented cars down in the line. So let's see what this Bomero can do. This is bound to be a fast time no matter what though, and it's going to be incredibly squirrely. That much torque is too much for the average car. Let's see how it does. 3, 2, 1, and blast off with this. Oh my goodness. It is swirling under pressure and pulling slightly to the left. Whoa, that was fast. That was a 7.9 second run. Oh my goodness, that's going to be hard to beat. Okay, let's go to the next one. I want to try and get it just a little bit more straight because I think that we're losing speed by drifting onto the finish, but goodness, that was quick. Alright, the boost has been engaged and the Bomero 2.0 is flying down the course once again. And 7.9 once again. Oh, it's crashed violently. That is only a touch slower than last time. Let's see if we can improve on that with a little bit more control. It is not easily controlled, but we can try. And again, flying down the track. This car is struggling to find traction with no traction control. 7.89, goodness. So that is the fastest time by far. It turns out it pays to keep the car straight. Who would have thought? Now, the hill climb car is another consistently good vehicle, except in the last event where it did quite poorly, probably due to my poor driving. But in this case, that isn't going to matter because all I'm doing is pulling the right trigger. It does have all-wheel drive. It does have 800 horsepower. It's either 650 or 800, I forgot. This is going to be a pretty good challenger. I don't know if it's going to get anywhere near the likes of the Bomero, but it might get under 10 seconds. We shall see. There are only a few cars that can really do that. I think the trophy truck might actually manage an under 10-second run. maybe even the Panther, believe it or not, if it can hook up. So this one would definitely be in the running. 3, 2, 1. No turbos to spool up, so we just get straight to the power. And, well, it's got a decent amount of power, I will say. We must try to keep it straight. 9.8. Okay, so it is sub 10 seconds. That is definitely a good run there. Let's see if we can do better than a 9.85. Alright, so we've taken off again in the hill climb car. Last time it drifted slightly into the middle. This time I want to keep it a little bit more in the lane. 9.86, so that is a touch slower. I think my steering might have messed it up. So far, so good on this run. We should be able to keep it in lane and keep it nice and straight. And 9.85 again, but I think that is a touch faster. Yeah, so that was 0.03 seconds faster. Oh goodness, it's coming down to the wire here. Alright, so the 50 horsepower ultralight race car is probably not going to do too well in this due to its 50 horsepower, but we can still give it a shot. It's been doing okay in the events so far. Unfortunately, after its first place finish in the first event, it dropped off to last in the second event, and since then it's just kind of been mediocre. I don't think it's going to be doing too hot in this one, but we shall see. 3, 2, 1. Oh no, I forgot to turn off traction control. Let's do one run with traction control, and then we'll do a run without traction control. I don't know if it's going to make too much of a difference here because, well, it's kind of not breaking traction at all. It's not particularly fast in a straight line. 16.8 seconds. That's definitely last. Alright, so I've turned traction control off. And we've taken off as well. I think that had a slight delay to it. I wonder if this time will be slower or not. It's more likely to be exactly the same or around the same, because I don't think we broke traction at all in our first run. 16.8 again. So if we scroll down the list, it's just a touch slower. Well, it's unfortunate, but it seems like the 50 horsepower ultralight race car is going to be last place in the drag event. Unless something can somehow be slower, I don't know if that's going to be possible with the current setup. Getting 16.8s is just not going to do it for this car. Let's see what else we have in the running. Up next is my favorite car. It's the Disco Puck. It is just begging for me to make a second version of it, and I will in the next season. So don't worry, we're getting Disco Puck 2.0 for sure, but please vote for the Disco Puck. It needs more points. It's too low in the leaderboard. It used to be so good, okay? Alright, realistically, drag speaking, it's probably not going to do too hot. It weighs a lot. It's got 300 horsepower, so it should be faster than the ultralight cars, but it is also a giant puck and incredibly unaerodynamic. Let's see what it'll do. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Okay, it's a slow start, but the power is building in that V8 under the hood. It's basically just a canyon under there, and you should be able to see the side of it as well. Because you can't see anything when the puck is in the way. So it's got a 14.6. I can't even see the times on the leaderboard anymore, there are so many, but that is not good. Like, the 50 horsepower ultralight car is here, and then the Disco Puck is just slightly above it. Let's see if we can do better than that. I think the Disco Puck might suffer from just not having good enough spacing on its transmission. Currently, it builds power slowly. Too slowly. And version 2.0 would definitely have more power. So that second run was a 14.6 once again, and that was actually slower than its previous one. Alright, run number 3 from the I was going to say the Disco Puck, but it's true, it is quite consistent. It is more consistent than I thought it would be, considering it's pretty tame overall. It's not a fast car. I think that was its fastest run yet, actually. Let's quickly check. And it was Disco Puck, and then there's its fastest run. Not bad. Now the BroDozer is a weird one. It started off really poorly by getting second last in the first 2 events, but after that it's been getting better and better. It is surprisingly good at racing, and so far has been reliable. So let's see what it'll do in this drag race. It's got 400 horsepower, but it does weigh 2,700 pounds, so I don't expect too much from it. I'm betting middle of the field here, but let's see. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. You can see that this V8 does not rev anywhere near like a normal amount. It's only going up to 5 grand, not even. So it shifts through the gears pretty quick, and it is super loud. I think that's second last. Oh no, is the BroDozer? Yeah, it's second last. It's slower than the Disco Puck. Well, the only thing you can blame for it being slower than the Disco Puck is the fact that it only has 100 more horsepower, and I think it probably weighs 1,000 more kilos. Like, not pounds, kilos. So, that would be why. Pretty understandable. Oh no, a 15-second run. Yikes, that is not good. Alright, BroDozer, come on, you can do better than 15 seconds. That first run was good. This second run, not so much. And this one, another 15-second run. Oh goodness. Now the Panther is in an interesting position because I have tested it on the drag strip and it can actually get traction on the drag strip, if you can believe it. The tractionless Panther has traction on the drag strip. And that means that its 645 horsepower is actually going to be able to connect, and that might be the first time it has ever done so. I'm honestly unsure of how well it's going to do in this. 645 horsepower is good, it's very light, it's only a two-door, so it's barely got any like weight to it. I really hope it does well, because it's currently second last on the leaderboard. It did come last in the previous event, so it should be a little bit better. And I'm sorry for the noise above me, it's quite annoying. 3, 2, 1, and all I'm doing is holding down the throttle, you can see. Oh wow, so it has not wheel spun as much as it usually does, but it does need a little bit of correction there. That is quick. 13.6 seconds, so it's not going to be last in this event. Let's see where that goes. So it is currently in between the race truck and the max downforce car. Okay, attempt 2 with the Panther. This should be a decent run as well. It's got a beastly V12 under the hood. I probably should have mentioned that before. So the torque is good. It's just about getting the right launch. And 13.6 seconds. Is that faster or slower than its previous time? I do not remember. So it looks like it's actually improved by, well, 7. Let's see if we can get the Panther to improve even more here. The times are not as close as I thought they would be. Oh, that actually... 13.5. Yeah, that is the fastest lap that it's done. That's good. So it has proven itself to be just a little bit worse than the race truck. So the trophy truck has been a bit of a disaster in this entire competition. I actually kind of regret bringing it in just because it's not good at all and it's so uncontrollable I can barely drive it. So it takes me forever to like do events with it because I keep having to retry. Overall, it's just been doing really poorly. It's not done well in any competition at all, except for the towing one where it got 4 points, so it's 4th from last, which is not great. This is its chance to shine though. It's very light, it's all-wheel drive, it's actually 4-wheel drive. It's got 1300 horsepower. It should be able to do something here. I tested this before just to see what it would do, and it can move pretty quickly here, so we should be able to get up into the maybe top 5 with it. I'm hoping that maybe it can do even better and just kind of surprise us, because right now the Bomero is winning, and oh goodness, it's uncontrollable. It's wheel spinning, but it's still moving. It hasn't driven into a wall yet. Oh wow, okay, sub 10 seconds. And that was a pretty sloppy run as well. That's actually put it up into 2nd place. Goodness, the trophy truck currently has 10 points. If it gets 2nd place, that's another 10 points. It took it 4 events to get 10 points, and it's going to get 10 points in this event as well. Alright, another decent launch here. I'm just going to try to keep it straight with a touch of steering every now and then. The straighter the better on these runs. 9.6. That is faster. That is significantly faster. Alright, this last run has got to be good. It's not going to pass the Bomero unless it has nitrous, which I don't think would work out too well. But let's see here. Alright, so that time we were able to hook up pretty decent. I'm going to try and keep it over in the right lane. Maybe that'll help it. Oh, we're sliding there. So probably not going to do it. Yeah, that is a little bit slower. Still faster than the first lap, but slower than the second one. So that is it for the drag races. I'll be back in a second to give you the results. I've got to look through these times and make sure that I know who's actually winning. Alright, so the Bomero has won the day with its time of 7.893 seconds. I guess that's kind of what you expect considering how much power it has, and it was by far the fastest car in this running. All-wheel drive, nearly 2600 horsepower. You can't beat that, that's just too much. Second place we have the trophy truck with 9.679 seconds. That was its fastest of 3. Now the trophy truck has been doing poorly, but was its chance to come back, and thankfully it did. It couldn't beat the Vomero, but 1300 horsepower brought it up into second, so can't complain about that. Third place we have the hill climb car, 9.852 seconds. Another good showing from the hill climb car. In the last event it did pretty poorly, so it's good to come back and see it here in third place. Fourth is the F1 van, 12.641 seconds. I guess that's what you expect from it. It's pretty light, it's got a decent amount of power, that's about it. Pearl's Revenge is in fifth with 12.813 seconds. That's a pretty good run for Pearl's Revenge, considering it's only got 400-ish horsepower, competing with some of the heavyweights in this championship. That is a good run. Next is the Race Truck. Race Truck came in with 13.305 seconds. Pretty good run from the Race Truck as well. Again, 400 horsepower, but I think it might be a touch heavier than Pearl's Revenge. Actually, it's lighter. Maybe it's the transmission that messed it up. Not sure. A surprising next place is the Panther. It was not last. It came in with a 13.597 second run. Pretty decent run from the Panther, all things considered, especially because of its terrible wheel spin issues. It actually managed to grip on the track and pull, which is great. Next is the Max Downforce car. Unfortunately, it only got 14.443 seconds, which is not looking good for its overall score, but it's not got much power. It's very light, and it's just not good at drag racing. It's much better around corners than it is on the drag strip. Next we have the Disco Puck, surprisingly coming in with a 14.634 second run. That is good from the Disco Puck. It's got 300 horsepower, so it's not exactly a monster or anything. Next we have the BroDozer with 14.989 seconds. That's, I guess, what you expect from the BroDozer considering how much it weighs, and again 400 horsepower. There is a theme here. And the ultralight race car is in last with 16.8 seconds. That is by far the slowest, and it's unfortunate because it's quite a good car. Alright, taking a look at the overall standings, things have shifted up quite a bit. Now the mini truck is still in first with 40 points, but the F1 van is close behind with 39 points, having come fourth in the last event. And then the Vomero has crept itself up into a third place position, overtaking Pearl's Revenge and the Max Downforce car to do so. And then Pearl's Revenge is in fourth. So that's a pretty decent showing from some of these cars. This is the final event, so there's only one other way for them to get points, and that is through the voting, so make sure to vote. You can see the Max Downforce car is underneath the Hill Climb car in, what is that, 6th place? So with its current lead in the polls, I think it's actually going to win because the Race Truck has no votes. So if you want to see the Race Truck win, then, well, vote for it. And if you want to see one of the other cars win, then feel free to vote for those too. If you match the poll to this table, you'll probably kind of get a spoiler of who's going to win, but hey, vote on every device. Make sure that your car comes in first. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for the support on this channel recently. Things have been exploding, and that's really quite good to see. If you continue to enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to keep making it. After this video is going to be that finale, and then after that we're going to be back to builds, and builds are a lot of fun, and I feel very inspired by some of your ideas to make some more cars, and I've got a lot of them to do, so yeah, keep looking out for that, and I'll see you then.